Hello, and welcome back, guys, to Malebogoputu Media and Agricultural. It feels so good to be back. We've been away for far too long. I think the last time I did gardening video was around March, April, I think, when I had planted tomatoes here on this patch. As you can see, you can still see some remnants of those tomato trees as we go along. So I'm going to be planting cabbages on this patch this time. I've tried to rotate. I've decided really to rotate tomatoes with cabbages, and as you can see, I've actually gone for basins rather than your conventional raised beds, as most people would prefer. So I'm actually going with basins, and the reason for that, really, for me, I think basins equals less work, and it is also easier when you want to apply your fertilizer. And then in terms of also water, saving water, I think it is also much easier, because then you can use your uh, watering can, and then water each plant individually. So once you are done with your basins, then before you can plant, you will need to water them to make sure that the soil is moist. Don't put too much, because then if you put too much, it's going to be all muddy and all that, and then you don't want that. For me, I can afford to put as much as I want, because as you can see, I have a very sandy soil here. I have a very sandy soil, so I can put as much water as I like. And actually, for the past 2 days or so, before I started planting, I've been busy putting I've been come on I've been very busy putting water here. I was using those sprinklers to water the whole area, but now so that it becomes much easier to work on. And then once that is done, obviously it's time to go and plant now. But before that, as you can see here, I'm actually growing my own seedlings, and these are my cabbage seedlings. I'm using these trays. It is a 200 cavity trays that I bought from a local hardware. So after irrigating the soil, you also need to irrigate these seedlings. It will help really with drying of the roots. It will take much long before your roots can dry. And I think also it is very important, once you start planting them and then they are wet, it reduces transplant shock. So the way you take out these seedlings, as you can see, underneath these seed trays, you will see a smaller yana hole there, and then you can use, as you can see there, I'm using a smaller yana wood there, but you can also use maybe your pen or something that you can put on those holes there. And once you plug them, as you can see, this it becomes much easier to pull when you pull them. And it comes with your growing medium. For me here, I've used seedling soil that I bought when I bought these seed trays, and that you can also get from your local hardware stores. And then once that is done, then it is time then to come and plant. And then, as you can see, you remember what I said about my soil. I've got a very, very, very sandy soil. And someone can maybe wonder why I am not using any fertilizers here. I've actually fertilized this soil before. If you remember, I said for 2 days or so before I started with these basins, I watered this area. And before watering this area, actually, I took your land 28, and then I've broadcasted it over this area, and then after that I watered it, and then it became soluble, and then I'm sure this area is well fertilized. This is that, and that is why I'm not using any fertilizers now. I will obviously maybe after 5 or so days come back and then fertilize the whole seedlings again, but for now I'm just using water. There's no manure added here, there's nothing. It's only, like I'm saying, it's only that 2 days or so before I broadcasted land 28, and then I watered very well. So I am sure there's much nitrogen here to give this plant, this cabbage plant, head start. And then obviously, like I'm saying, after about a week or so, maybe I'll come and put some manure, or maybe I will come and put some compost, or maybe I will come and apply the first nitrogen dressing also, because like I said, my soil is very, very sandy. So when it comes to fertilizing, I'm using a mixture, really. I'm using a mixture of fertilizers. Sometimes, like I said, I'm using land 28. Sometimes I'm using your manure that I buy from local hardwares. And then if I'm not using that, I will go, because I'm in a rural areas, I will just go in the field there and collect the cow dung. And I mean a very, very wet cow dung, and then come and mix it with water, and then from there drain it, make sure all the weed seeds and everything stays behind, and then take that water, and then I'll take that water to irrigate these plants, and you will see how that process goes. Yeah, so as you can see here, I've got a very, very, very sandy soil, and it becomes much easier for me to actually plant. And yeah, so that is how I actually plant my cabbages, as you can see here. And here I've got about 208. I've got about 208. And once you are done irrigate, I mean, once you are done planting, you then irrigate again. So you will make your basins, and then after making your basins, you will irrigate those basins before you put on your seedlings. And then after irrigating those basins, you then take your seed trays, you irrigate your seeds, and then after that you come and plant them. And then once you are done planting again, it's time then to water your plants. And like I said, I'm not using any fertilizers. And the reason I'm not using any fertilizer planting, like I said, is because about 2 days before, I actually broadcasted land 98, I mean land 28 here, and then after that I watered very well. So I'm sure there's still fertilizer here. And then after a week or so, I will see. Maybe I will side dress with land. Maybe I will, like I said, maybe I will use manure tea, or maybe I will just apply manure. It will depend. and as you can see, there are our cabbages. And then I will keep coming back. Unlike the previous videos where I would just film a video and then just disappear. This time I will keep coming back with progress. When I fertilize, I will come back and make a video until I've harvested. I've got plenty of vegetables really to plant, so it is going to be quite a journey. And I'm hopeful that whatever I'm doing, whatever I am sharing, will benefit you guys. And until we meet again in the next videos when we are planting another vegetables, it's bye bye from us.